Well, welcome to my shop again this morning. Today I've got a little nostalgia project, you might call it. A Lone Ranger project. Any of you are past the age of 50 or so probably remember the Lone Ranger. What I thought I'd do is make a little rustic type of sign for the masked crusader of the past, and it's going to be a little bit different than I usually just cut out the letters and make a nice little sign of something that I want. But I'm going to take this one and I'm going to cut each of the letters out of a piece of a 2x4 that has been trimmed down here to about 1 1/4 inch thick. What I'm going to do is cut out each of the letters, and then I'm going to take them over to my bench sander, and I'm going to rub them against the sander as it's spinning around. And I'm looking to do a kind of sculpting effect, give it an old rustic look to it, worn out effect. And the actual hat up on the top here will probably just be cut out as a normal little sign and glued to the top, somewhat in arrangement similar to what you see here. And of course, what would the Lone Ranger be without a mask? So we've got a little mask down here in the corner. Probably cut that out of a dark piece of wood, and it's going to be glued right up here on top of the R. And all of this is going to be mounted on another piece of 2x4, which again will be sculpted to make it look like a rustic piece that's been sitting around for a while. Probably end up staining it and have a nice little display piece for my shelf. Okay, so let's get started with this. First thing we got to do is cut out the letters and see how they fit on this 2x4. Okay, let's take this one here. These are scrap pieces, so we're going to do the best we can fitting them on here. Got to avoid these holes that have been drilled in the wood, but that looks like it would fit pretty good right there. And either one of these would fit nicely on here. Put the longer one, I got a longer piece here. Maybe I could do the Ranger. I can cut this down a bit. And I think we'll cut this off here around this point, and we'll use this to work on. Okay, the first thing we want to do now is tape up our block. Using a 2-inch masking tape for this, and take our lettering here, give it a good squeegee with the glue stick. And we'll put her down on the block here. has a little bit of rounding on the edges here. It doesn't really matter though, because remember, these are going to be sculpted letters when we're done. Don't know how they're going to look, don't know how this is going to work, but we'll give it a try. And we do the same thing with the other one. Nice sunny day outside. I can see the sunbeams coming through the window. And again, we put some more glue down on the back of this. Make sure we're below those holes, which we are. And again, same as with the other one. Drill some entry holes, and then we'll get around to cutting this thing. Alright, so I'm going to go drill the entry holes, and I'll meet you guys back at the scroll saw. You know your way there by now, so see you then. Okay, how you doing, guys? Alright, I'm going to change the blade that's in here. I've got a 5-inch, 5 reverse, number 5 reverse tooth blade in here. I think this might be a little thin for this. So what I'm going to do, and maybe this is overkill, but I'm going to put in a number 9 reverse tooth. And I always use the Flying Dutchman blades, which seem to work very nicely for me. Plus they also have a marking at the top, which allows me to always get my blade in the right way, not put it in upside down, which can be a problem because when this thing pulls up, well, my battery died on me in the camera, so I lost all the cutting of the first part, but that's okay. I'll cut out the second one. I'll cut a little piece out, and then I'll just end it. Pretty simple cutting anyway, so. Okay, cut out all the letters. Fairly easy job with my number 9 blade. And you can do this with other names too. It doesn't have to be this name. And you can even let it, if you're happy with this, you can just arrange the letters any way you want on a backing board or put them on a pedestal of some sort, and makes a nice, interesting sign. But our goal, of course, is to do something a little more with it. So the first thing we want to do is take off all these labels. Okay, all cleaned up. Now, the real fun begins. What we want to do is sculpt these, make them look a little worn and a little rustic, and make them a little effective. We're going to go over to the bench sander and do that there. It's a good idea to maybe wear some gloves if you're not adept at using a rim sander. You don't want to scrape your fingers or whatever, or give your nails a quick manicure. But I'm going to just give it a quick run over there, and we're going to see how we can sculpt these letters. Okay, to do our sculpting, we're going to use a round end of the sander. And what we're going to do is turn this on. We're just going to manipulate these letters all around here, putting gouges in them, curves and whatevers as best we can, and still make it look like a letter when we're done. And as I said, be careful using it. If you're a bit wary of this, you might do this with a rasp file instead, or regular heavy sandpaper. That would serve the purpose too. But and I don't recommend that you use this if you're not familiar with it. So let's give this a try and see how it works. Okay, neglected to tell you, you should probably wear a mask when you're doing this. Got a lot of dust you're kicking up. I think we're going to be okay. These came out pretty good. I'm going to go to the mop sander now and smooth out all that I've done. And then I'll meet you back at the bench and show you what we got there. Okay, we got everything pretty well straightened out here. I did that bench sanding work on it, sculpting, came out pretty good. I took these and ran them over my mop sander also to take off some of the fuzzies, a few other rough edges, and I think we're pretty well set to move on. Now, as I said, you could use other letters. You can set this up any way you want. I'm going to do it as a little sign, somewhat similar to what you saw on the whole pattern. The next thing we have to do is to cut out this little hat. We want the to be at the beginning of this sign. So we're going to take our scissors and cut this out. I think I'm going to cut it out maybe. Well, let me go see what I got for wood. I'll come back. Okay, I found this old piece of pine. It's been sitting around for centuries. And a piece of scrap wood again. I'm going to take this and put it down on here and cut it out. It's a little bit thinner than the actual lettering, which is okay. Not a real problem. It's about 3/4 inch thick. So let me tape this baby up. I like using real old wood if I can. This piece of pine has been sitting around for many, many, many years. You can tell by the shading of the wood. Used it for something else a while back, but I think rather than throwing it out, we can probably use it for this project. Put on some gooey here. And we'll take her to the scroll saw, cut it out. Scroll saw is a handy little device, as you well know. And she'll have ourselves a nice little decoration for our ornamental sign here. Alright, it looks like it's fitting on there real nice. Gotta cut some entry holes here, of course. See you over at the scroll saw again. Back. Okay, I cut out all the letters, of course, sculpted them a bit, and cut out the hat, as you saw, and sanded that down a bit. And then I found a 2x4, like using 2x4s if I can, an old one. It is rather ratty looking, and I sculpted that a bit. And then I'm just dry fitting the letters right now to see how they look, and they seem to look pretty good. So the only thing I really have to do now is cut out the little black mask, paint it black, and we'll put it up at the top of the R eventually. But the next thing I want to do is take this and stain all of the pieces a dark brown. I won't do this on camera because, well, maybe I will do it on camera. A little bit of it anyways, so you can get an idea of how this works. And then we'll glue this all together. Okay, I think we're ready to start putting this thing together. I'm going to just glue them down, glue all the pieces down to this 2x4, and glue them together a little bit also. Put a little bit of glue on the bottom, and just stand it right up there. I don't think we're even going to need clamps on this. Set it more toward the front, I think, than the back. Come on there, a little bit there. Okay, and then put the N bottom and the edge, like this. Looks pretty good. It's okay if it's a little out of balance, I mean, not a problem. I mean, it is supposed to look kind of rustic, so. Bottom and the back. Alright, I think that'll be fine. Alright, doesn't look too bad at all. We'll take it off the stand here and you get a better look at this. Well, the Ranger sign is coming along pretty good. Okay, again, I cut a strip off of an old 2x4. a little bit of tape on here. This is about maybe 1/8 of an inch thick. You decide what you decide you want to do if you're going to do something like this. Put our glue on the back, of course. And tape it down there. Now we got to drill out some entry holes for the mask, and then cut the mask out on the scroll. So I won't bother to do that on camera because it's all pretty standard. Come back when we're ready to attach it to the actual letter. Okay, I painted the mask black, and I'm going to glue that to the front of the R, finalize this thing after I stain all of this. I want to put a nice stain on here first, and then we can glue that down. And then eventually we'll put a nice coating of satin clear on it, and I think it's going to look pretty good. So we're going to let this dry now. I want those letters to dry down pretty good before I do any staining. So I'll be back when that's ready. Okay, everything seems to have dried up pretty nicely here. What we're going to do now is take some wood stain and go over this little project. We'll dress it up a lot, and then I think we'll probably spray it with a clear spray to really finish it off. I've got, I don't want to put the mask on there yet. We're going to wait. We get this all stained first, and then we'll glue the mask on. Okay, so let's just take a brush here and start splattering this thing. See what happens. I think it's going to transform before your eyes. This top hat is different wood than the 2x4, of course, so it seems to really be absorbing this stain, and as is the 2x4 material also. Okay, I think we've got it pretty well coated now with this stain. Looks pretty good, a little rustic looking, which is what we're looking for. Gonna let that stain soak in now and dry, and then I'm gonna take a clear spray, probably a satin, and go over the whole thing, and that should finish it off.